Hi, my name is Milica Utvich, and this is my applied assignment presentation. To start off, I'm going to go over my pre-work, some of the background knowledge prior to learning about individuals with disabilities and how inclusion occurs in education, communities, employment, etc. I was informed about the difficulties within those regions differently abled people face. I was aware of the stereotypes given about them, but I never was educated about the experiences or the effects um, individuals with disabilities faced. An experience that I had in high school was that I had a Rebel Market, which was a coffee shop ran by our special ed program. It was a great way of connecting with people around school, seeing familiar faces, and you got great coffee out of it. So secondly, I'm going to go over my evidence. I interviewed my grandmother, Plana Jovanovic. She was diagnosed with osteoarthritis, which is basically when the flexible tissue at the end of your bones wears off. Some of the topics that I go over are individuals with disabilities and stereotypes and society. Right to the right of me is a cute picture of me and my grandma. Some of the course materials that I used is the article People with Invisible Disabilities Fight for Understanding. Since her disability isn't shown physically, I wanted to interpret this article into one of my questions about her struggles. And the second resource I use is How the ADA Changed the Built World. I interpreted this video into one of my questions because she can be affected by the ADA, and I wanted her perspective on how she is affected. My third resource I use is TED Talk, I Am Not Your Inspiration, Thank You Very Much. I wanted to incorporate a question based on her own beliefs about differently abled people being viewed as objects of inspiration. I wanted to know if she's ever felt or dealt with this topic. To go on, here's the evidence I provided during the interview. To the left, I've provided the questions, and then to the right of me is her response. It goes in order of the questions and how she answered. So according to People with Invisible Disabilities Fight for Understanding, Carly states, walking to the subway or even bending down to pick something up can take a lot out of her, but that isn't apparent from the outside. Do you feel like you relate to her statement about her disability not being visible and being an outsider to people with disabilities? In response, she said, I have felt like my disability is quite literally invisible. I do relate to her about having daily tasks be more of a struggle. Although I do struggle with an invisible disability, most people look at being elderly as a disability itself. For example, if I parked in a handicapped spot, most people would not give me a dirty stare if I did not have a cane or wheelchair. To go on, according how the ADA changed the built world, do you feel like Americans with Disabilities Act had a major impact in your life? In response, she said, I have been impacted by the ADA. Usually, I will always take an elevator over a pair of stairs. Also, whenever using public bathrooms, the accessible stalls with the handlebars are helpful. The ADA has impacted me positively overall. And lastly, according to TED Talk, I Am Not Your Inspiration, Thank You Very Much. Do you feel like people have viewed you as an object of inspiration based on your disability? In response, she said, I do not believe that my experiences can ever largely sum up to what others have experienced, but sometimes if I lift something on the heavier side, some people will compare it to a younger person, saying things like, if she can do it, so can you. Although I could have inspired someone unintentionally, I've never felt as if I was an object of inspiration. These questions are regarding the past slides on which resources I've used from the course. And this is my email regarding my grandmother and I meeting up for this interview. My last and third topic is new learning. Some of the topics that I learned is not all disabilities are visible. This connects with the course because this has helped me not place judgments on people based on their appearance. This goes for anything, obviously, but the material really enforced this throughout all the modules. You cannot judge because the disability cannot be shown, and you can't just determine based on appearance. The second topic is universal design. This is one of those things that has went over my head many times. I've never thought about the reason for a bar in an accessible bathroom, or the curb of the sidewalk. Universal design is important for everyone to feel welcome in the world, and this course has really enforced me to think about universal design and how I can implement it, and think about ways to change things and make the world accessible for everyone. And my last topic is objects of inspiration. This video of Stella Young has taught me how to think differently regarding how I view people's daily lives. I've never really thought about the inspiration aspect, but I completely understood her presentation and TED Talk of it. Completely changed my view on how I view people, and not judging them based on how they manage to live their lives and go about their day. What I want to learn information on, a new area of inquiry. I want to learn more people's experience. I want to learn ways on how to implement universal design into the environments I'm in, and especially in the future when I become an educator. I really want to include everyone in my classroom. I want to think of ways to make people feel comfortable, and that's the main goal. And I feel like educating myself on these topics is really going to help me move forward in the right direction. So these are some of the resources that I've included that have helped me within my interview. I want to thank you all for listening. Have a great day.